Hey everyone, it's James, host and lead producer of the Weekly DADCast, streamed live at twitch.tv/weeklydadcast. Find more DADCast episodes alongside with DADCast After Dark on iTunes or go to weeklydadcast.podbean.com. If you have a question for us, email us at officialdadcast@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at officialdadcast. For our stream archives and other DADCast content, go to YouTube and search DADCast. Links to all of this and more in the description below. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly DADCast, the only place you can find these titans of gaming and anime. Joining with me today is the man with a lolly in his heart, in his mind, and in his shadow, the half vampire, Skylar.
I wish all those things were true. Sadly, only a couple of them are.
And then with you all is your fucking reason, your local villain, Claude. Yeah, alright, so we don't have any fan questions this week, but if you'd like to send us a fan question, please send us an email at weeklydadcast@gmail.com. It was Weekly Dadcast, right? Or official. I actually don't remember what James did.
It's yeah. I also don't remember because now ever since we had that time when he forgot and then he said the wrong one like 2 weeks in a row, I haven't been able to remember which one was the right one either.
Fuck us. If you have a fan question,
I think it's official.
Right.
Dadcast@gmail.com.
If you want your question read off on the air so that all 8 people who listen to this, or however many now, apparently the number's bigger, please send an email to both officialdadcast@weekly.com. Weekly. Fuck me. You want to do this, Skylar? I'm
Send your burning questions and inquiries to officialdadcast@gmail.com, and then maybe to alleviate our inability to remember basic things, also send it to weeklydadcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, do those things and we'll read it off on the air. So with no fan questions, we can jump right in a week. So Skylar, what was your week like?
It's pretty fucking uneventful. I didn't this is like the lead up to finals week for me, so we had like more than half the week off because we have these things called reading days, where they just decide that okay, now is not, you aren't allowed to have classes on these days, these are for studying only, but no one studies on those days. Instead they do nothing, like me, who did nothing instead and just watched Hunter x Hunter for like many straight hours. So me and Claude have been doing that. We now have finished Greed Island.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. Bit of audio loss. So Skylar, you can pick back up with how you watched nothing but Hunter x Hunter with me.
Yeah. So we finished Greed Island this week, which was pretty fucking cool. It was a fun arc. Claude said it was his least favorite of the bunch, but I actually liked it. I think it was like one of, I don't know. I think I liked it more than Heaven's Arena, but I'd say that's like where it is, I guess, as far as the way I'd rank things. It's pretty fun. I was thinking yesterday about how weird it is to me that this arc is going to be the longest one, right? I'm aware that this arc is like 70 episodes long.
60 something, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like almost half the length of the entire show. Which is funny to me because I'm now aware of the fact that neither Leorio or Kurapika appear at all during this arc. So I think it's very interesting that they're like billed as main characters and then they don't show up for more than half of the show. It's like they also both aren't in Heaven's Arena either. So like Leorio is in like a total of like 30 episodes in the entire show, and Kurapika has like Phantom Troop arc, and then like after that he's gone for the rest of it as well. I think that's kind of funny.
They don't really get like full. They're not front and center. I think that, like, it's where I mentioned it before, is like Gon is your primary character, and even though their goals all overlap, like the goal is find my dad, and so while there's some people who could be like, hey, your goals kind of line up with mine right now because like you need to get this copy of the super rare video game and I'm out for revenge, which is 2 things you'd never expect to cross over.
Kurapika's not gonna like, I'll play the video game with you, even though it has nothing to do with my revenge, even though it kind of could have had to do with his revenge. He just didn't know. He wasn't to know.
Yeah, there would be no way for him to know that the fam troop were playing this video game.
Yeah, and that the person in the video game had the ability to remove his men from Crollo, which means that it was very relevant to his revenge, but he wasn't to know.
Yeah. So, huh?
No, you go on. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, what's your current ranking on the arcs in the series right now?
I'd say my favorite is the Yorknu arc overall. That one's pretty fucking fantastic. And then I put the Hunter exam arc after that, and then Greed Island, and then Heaven's Arena. And I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm forgetting one, but I don't think I am. That's how I rank them.
That's it, because you only have 2 more arcs left, and the last arc's like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Weird to think about.
Yeah, it's just like, because it's just like, what do you do, I guess, after that shit, right?
Well, what they do does make sense. Makes
I mean,
a lot
I figure.
Of sense.
Yeah, I remember when Pat said when Pat was talking about it from the best friend about his experience. He said that like the last arc is kind of like a lot of wrap up happening.
Yes.
Which I think is good. That's something that I always want with a big long story. When I watch a big long thing, I really want at the end. I really want like a full wrap up. That's what I loved about Fullmetal Alchemist, was that it had like a full episode that was just like, okay, and then this is what everyone did after we finished the story. And that's always what I want. I want something like that. Obviously, I know Hunter x Hunter doesn't like fully end.
Yeah.
Right? Because like the manga is still going. But like, as long as like things are tied up in a way that's satisfying for the show, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't attribute. I'd attribute more towards like Gurren Lagann, which we'll be having a spoiler cast for later on, where it gets the end and it ends right there, but you could tell if they really wanted to, they could continue.
Yeah, but it's been like 7 years though since the show started, so
right.
You know.
But I'm just saying in the way like not like continue like, hey, we're doing another Gurren Lagann, but like it wouldn't feel unnatural if they had another episode after the last one, like showing what Simon's doing. But like the way they ended it feels very natural.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it's more like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going through it, and then it's gonna be a couple weeks before we're done with the Chimera Ant, because I think we've been like averaging 30 episodes a week, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
30 to 35.
Yeah, like I remember he was thinking like last week we were talking about how we just finished what arc, like Heaven's Arena.
Yeah, we finished Heaven's Arena.
Yeah, and so we had just started Yorknu, and now we're like through Yorknu and Greed Island. That was like 30 something episodes. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And then that's basically all I did this week. I didn't even have my PS4 in dorm, so I didn't play any more Red Dead. And watching Hunter x Hunter basically stalled me on Dorohedoro as well. So I haven't read any more of that either. But yeah, so that's basically just me.
Okay.
So what was your week, my friend?
I played a lot more Civ 6 than I should have. I've just been loving the game. I was supposed to be like studying and doing other things, but I'm like, nah, man, I just gotta win this war or like win through culture. And I got 2 wins in the game so far. I got one through domination, because I wanted to like set very low difficulty, see like how domination works, because they changed stuff, because there's like warmonger penalties and shit, and your people are super not happy when you go to war and you're an evil asshole. And then there's another one I won by cultural victory, by like just stomping out 2 other civilizations, because the way cultural victory works is you have to have it where at least like 50% of the all other countries 50% of all other countries like population visits you for tourism. So you do a lot of like arts and shit. And what I did was I wanted to go for a domination victory in that one initially, and I stomped out, because it was a 4 myself and 3 computers. I stomped out 2 of them in the early game because the Aztecs have the Eagle Warriors at the beginning, and you're basically a monster if you build up quick at the beginning. So I took out those 2, and I just couldn't find the final civilization until like the medieval era. And by that point, it's like, damn, I don't have like all the stuff I need to send an army over there, and the barbarians are assholes. They won't leave me alone. And I was planning to get to the modern era and just bomb them into submission, but then I just won through culture. I was like, well, fuck me. So yeah, Dr. Stone was also the other thing I got into. I was reading it before, but I stopped when I caught up. And then I was like, it was one of those things where I left the manga alone for a while. I was like, you know what? How far is it for me? It was like 12 chapters. I thought it was closer. And it was actually good because where I stopped, or where it is now, is it's 2 chapters into the next arc. So I was able to finish the arc I was reading, and I just dropped it right there. I'm like, I'm gonna give it like at least 6 months and then pick it back up, because ain't no way I'm starting the beginning of an arc like for something I'm that interested in. But more importantly, there is another manga that I was like, it's been on my radar for a while. I've been like, man, I've been saying I need to read this, and I finally stopped procrastinating and read it. Can you guess what it is?
Is it Dorohedoro?
You're a fool for assuming that. It's Golden Kamuy.
I'm not sure what I expected.
Yeah.
You betrayed me yet again.
But listen, okay?
I mean, Golden Kamuy is good, so I'm not gonna fault you on that one, really.
That one had been on my list because I liked the anime, but I hated like the CG and the inconsistencies for it. So I was like, all right, let me read it. And I think, let me actually check real quick because I have it open in a different tab. I am at chapter, now you decide you don't want to load. Somewhere between chapter 25 and 30. There we go. I'm at chapter 26 right now. And boy, I have gotten some fucking hard laughs. The anime does not do it justice for some of the like reaction faces.
Yeah, dude,
like,
the manga faces are incredible.
Like it's a serious story, but there's sometimes it's just like, no, we're gonna be real goofy. Like the face he makes when he's like, oh, we can't eat the brains or the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's pretty good.
Like I forgot that I can't.
There's some next level fucking reaction images in that series.
Like there was what was it? The dude who was like the escape king. Like he was like, oh yeah, you brought back some stuff. We're gonna eat good tonight. And he was like, yep. And then the next panel is like him being spoon-fed brains. Like,
yeah. Dude, have you got to the tap chapter yet? Because that's a really good one for the too. Have you got to the Sitatap chapter yet? Where they're explaining like that like food where it's like you like have to cut it or whatever. Because that's a really good one for that shit. For that particular thing you're talking about.
Chopping the thing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, I want meat. He's like, say, she's like, say, she was drinking and shit.
Yeah.
I got that. That's super good.
Golden Kamuy is secretly a cooking manga. No one would tell you that.
A lot of it, though, is stuff you wouldn't want to cook because it's like, hey, skin this deer this way, eat this stuff raw, just go for it. Eat the brains and the eyes of the squirrel. I'm like, oh. Sugimoto's a hero for going through with it.
Sugimoto is a hero. Yeah. Also, fucking Professor Penis is the greatest character.
So I saw that name existed. I don't know who that is or why he's called that. But I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the same reason she just fucks up the name. Because he's Escape King, but she calls him like Excrement King. I think the part that got me the most, I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this, is when she's like, hey, we caught this otter. Here, as an honor, I'm gonna give you the skull. And he's like, just going from different angles but not biting it. She's like, stop playing, eat the meat. Like, man, I fucking love that series right now.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny. It's like such a weird mix of like goofy ass bullshit and like actually decent action. Yeah, And like, there's just so much wacky shit that happens in it. It's pretty fucking.
Dude gets his face literally slapped off by a bear.
By a bear, yeah,
Get
and then there's a part
peeled.
where a bear gets suplexed. That's pretty cool.
I went to look up a screenshot so I could show my girl this. Or not my girl. I don't remember who I was showing it to. No, I remember. I was talking to George about it. And I was like, let me show you this one thing. I want to show him like I think someone in the Best Friends chat posted, or maybe you posted it here, where it's like, put your shitty nipples away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm loving that.
There's the dude that fucks the bear. He's the guy. This is the guy that fucks the bear. He's a hero. Everyone's excited about how he managed to do it.
I don't know if it's the same dude. He seems really weird, and like he wouldn't be against it. And it's the dude who just knows everything about bears, and he wants to hunt a wolf now, but he's just hunted 200 bears, and he has some really questionable lines.
There's a character in it. I forget his name, what the guy's name is, but he's the guy that just loves animals and knowing about animals. And so he's like, he has like this. I think he has glasses, and he has like the floofy white hair or whatever. Yeah, he just loves him. He wanted to fuck the bear, to dominate the bear.
Oh, wait, no, I remember what I was gonna say. When I was looking up the screenshot of that, I saw some. I don't know what the fuck the context is. It was some dude in like a fish suit twirling the tail, and it was talking about the origins of the catwalk. I'm like, what is this series?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's a whole lot of fun. Also, another thing I love about I appreciate is every single chapter cover page is a reference to a movie poster, and I don't get a lot of them because they're obscure as fuck. But some of the ones that I do are like, damn, that's good.
Yeah, that does it for me
also,
as far as weeks.
These are especially good if you're really into like muscular naked men as well.
What?
Like, yeah, dude, come on, you can't fucking deny that Golden Kamuy does not have tons of like lovingly detailed shots of man abs.
I can only it's in the middle of the winter. I've only seen like one time, and that's when the guy was like getting his clothes off to bathe in the water, like because he was with the hunter dude. It's like, hey, to clear off our impurities. It's like, holy shit, because he sees the tattoos. He's like, listen, man, it's cold outside. It's much more marvelous when it's warm. Like, what?
There's that one panel where they're hanging out with like the mushrooms. The guy's like leaning down, and there's like this like the mushrooms covering up his dick, but it's just like a fucking mushroom, so it still just looks like his penis anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't gotten any of that. I'm definitely gonna blaze through that because like it's something I knew I'd enjoy because I enjoyed the anime. It's just I didn't know how much more enjoyable it was in the manga than the anime. Yeah,
I mean the manga art's really good. And like the anime can only so accurately capture the like they're almost like SpongeBob, like the hyper detailed reaction faces. It's almost to that level of like the close up of their face, and it's hyper detailed for no reason. It almost reminds me of that, and that's hard to do with anime. So yeah,
it's like why are you serving this little girl poop? Is like is a concept. I'm like, man.
Serpa is great, by the way. Like,
she's fantastic. Greatest child character in a manga I've read in a long time.
What a fucking shit. she's great. Yeah. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah, that's a good manga. I'd recommend that shit.
Yeah. So that's the last one on my list of things I did. So we can just jump into the Waifucast. And for those of you who don't know about the Waifucast, is I pull up a waifu from whatever series we're talking about. And right now it is Persona, and discuss their viability. And this week we'll be talking about On Takamaki.
Oh, and? See, or I guess it's On. I don't know. I didn't play the dub, and they said it was On. And then they say it like that in there. But I just said it as An. My head, like I played the sub version.
Yeah, it's not anything I'd fight anyone on, but yeah, they pronounce it as On in fucking the dub.
The dub. They also say Ryuji Sakamoto, so I don't know if I can trust
Sakamoto. Yeah, you're right. It's a very strong argument.
Yeah. So I feel like with Anne that I like Anne more than most people like Anne, because I feel like everyone's just kind of like with Anne, where she's first girl, right? And so they kind of like push her a bit for like the first chunk of the game. They like Anne has a lot of screen time, and it's like Anne's whatever, she's great, but blah blah blah. And so I think people kind of like fell off with her as more character got introduced because they felt like she was being pushed really hard. Like they're like maybe no Makoto or Haru or whatever. I really like Anne a lot. I like her social link a lot. I like the dumb thing that she has where she was like inspired to be a model because of how cool the female villains in toku shows were when she was a kid. She loved watching like Sentai. She was like, oh yeah, Rita Repulsa. She's the coolest. I think that's fun. The whole thing is a good time. And the thing with Shiho is interesting. I like that too. That's actually my one complaint about her confidant, is that I wish that Shiho had been more present in it instead of having that like weird thing towards the end of her confidant where it's like there's that other like model girl that was like trying to compete with her or whatever, and then you reaffirm Anne's desire to be a model through that, whatever. I think that was kind of fine. Like it's fine for her character, but I would have preferred to use Shiho instead. Because that was still like important, except they just kind of talked about it, and Shiho was like off screen. Like, it was like, oh yeah, Shiho was cool. I'm doing a thing with her, but I went to see her in the hospital or whatever, instead of just like having that as a scene in the confidant. I would have preferred that, but otherwise, I think she's a lot of fun, and she's goof. She has like a fun, like chemistry with a lot of the cast, like with like Ryuji. And like Makoto and like Futaba, she has some pretty good scenes. I like that stuff.
Yeah, no, she's definitely good. I really like. I was like, they won't have the balls to do it, but they're really pushing for it. Between her and Yusuke. With the whole like, I want to paint you naked, and he was like, what? And she shows up with like 8 jackets on. I was like, okay, I like this a lot. Yeah, I enjoy those dumb scenes with her. My only thing about her that was like, this is kind of weird, is they wanted to try and push her about like, she's like, I'm not some like sex symbol for you to like lust after. I hate you. And then she gets her like, gets her powers, and it's like, you got the most revealing stripper outfit of them all.
Yeah, and it's like there's some weird stuff with that Persona 5 where it's like Anne's deal is that she wants to be like the coolest. She wants to be like labeled as cool without having to be like a sex object kind of thing. But then there's still multiple times in the game where it's like, Anne, we need you to distract them with your titties. And it's like, okay, I guess.
And even times where it's like not necessary, like that one, you have to admit this scene's not necessary. I appreciate it for existing because they called out the dudes, but on the way to Futaba's palace.
Yeah, when they're in the car, when they're
getting really hot in here, and then the dudes are like, and it's just like, okay, calm down.
What's funny about that particular scene is that like it's like the 3 guys are like, you have MC, you have Ryuji, and you have Yusuke, and then it's like MC is not really allowed to emote in cutscenes, so he kind of has like a blank face on, and then Ryuji has like the pervy anime boy face where he's like, oh yeah, titties, and then Yusuke's face is also nonplussed as fuck. So it's like the only one who's really perving is Ryuji, and the others who are just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess their titties have. And it's pretty funny just looking at it. They almost look like they aren't even paying attention. They both have like 1,000-yard stares.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else about her I have complex feelings on, because I agree. Like I've heard people don't like her, and I figured that it just went down, basic waifu war bullshit. But yeah, no, I do like Ann. I don't think there's any of the girl characters I can think of off the top in P5 that I don't like. She's the only one where it came to part of her deal where I'm like, I don't fully agree with that. I don't really fully make sense of that. But yeah, as far as my vote on her, I'm saying she is viable.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So
And I think that she'll be fun in spin-offs too. Like, I feel like there's I think like the P5 cast as compared to the P4 cast has a lot is gonna have a lot easier time transitioning into spin-offs without having to worry about being like flanderized into a way that makes them really annoying. Like, I think like Anne and Makoto and Haru all might be just perfectly fine in like a queue or like an arena or whatever. The only one that worries me is Futaba, because they could just turn
it's
her
easy to ruin.
Obnoxious. Yeah, they could. It's really easy to fuck that up. So that worries me. But I've seen some of the training because there's like confidant type things in the dancing in Starlight, whatever the fuck that new game is called. I think it comes out soon in the United States, but it's been out in Japan for like fucking 6 months. So I've seen some of like the translated, some people on some huge weebs on the Futaba subreddit translated the confidant scenes with her. So I've seen some of those, and it's fine. She's
available
fine.
in 3 days.
Okay, yeah. So maybe that's a game.
I might get them because I want to know.
I'm not at all interested in getting it. I just want to watch the things on YouTube. I might not even I do. It's a thing where like my Persona 5 experience is now weird and fucked, in that I always want all the spin-off things to have Japanese voices available. I don't know if they even. I know that arena games. The arena games all have Japanese voices, and I never use those because I didn't play the sub for those. But yeah,
I'm kind of excited to play Persona Q2. I didn't finish Persona Q. I liked it a lot. But like honestly, the first thing to make me even give a shit about Persona Q2 was Kamoshida Man, because it's the most ridiculous thing to exist.
Yeah, Kamoshida Man is outrageous. I can't believe that exists.
It's like you made this fucking pedophile a hero. This actual pedophile a hero.
Actual pedophile, rapist, and abuser. And he's a hero to save everyone. He even gets a nice Lotus Juice rap break in the OP.
It's I don't understand him, but I am very interested in the game. I know it's coming out soon. I don't know if it's coming out soon in Japan or just there or what.
I think I don't think it's out in Japan yet either. I did see one clip. I think it was from a press junket or something, where I think it's the scene where you and whatever P5MC's name is first meet.
What was it?
It's Ren, I think, is the one, but in my brain he will always be Akira. So whatever. Yeah, P4MC, P5MC meet, and they have a thing where they fight each other because they don't know who they are. And then at the end of it, they mimic the shot from Cowboy Bebop, where it's Vicious with the sword and then Ren with the gun thing, because that's their deal.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
that's pretty fucking cool. So maybe it'll be a good game.
I remember playing PQ. This is one of the things I want to know how they frame the P5 cast, because in PQ you can either start off with the P3 crew or the P4 crew. And I started off as the P4 crew because I like them more. And I got to the point where it's because you basically get to the end of the first dungeon, and that's when you meet the other group. And it was oh hey, we're about to all die. This sucks. And then the P3 crew comes in and don't worry, we'll save you. We got your back. But that was what happens in the inverse? And I made another file just to play as the P3 crew and get to the end. No, I didn't make another file. I'm a fool. I wouldn't have done that. I looked it up online. Because I was what happens in the other? So I looked up what happens to the P3 crew when you get to the end of the dungeon. The P4 crew just shows up. I don't remember if they're doing JoJo poses. I remember something weird happened with them.
There's a thing where in PQ, the P4 cast actually just show up with JoJo poses.
Okay, so that's not something I made up.
No, yeah, that's a real thing.
Man, I fucking... Okay, I just pulled it up now. I don't know if you want to kill for time. I want to see what if the P3Q does crew doesn't. Ah, God, I keep fucking that up.
It's the P3Q
P3 crew. It's because it's Q. Okay, no, they're just all there with guns to their heads in the shadow, and then and then like they're like, all right, let's charge, and then you get in there, and everyone's just doing a JoJo pose from the P4 crew.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I fucking love them so much. God
Yeah.
damn. All right, yeah, we've been on this for a minute. You have anything else to say on she's been voted viable?
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, by the way, I just want to point out that when I was looking for that picture that we're going to use for the thumbnail, I found like a bunch of Asurpa X Sugimoto art, and that makes me want to kill myself.
I don't like that. She's 9.
I just wanted people to know that that's the thing that people are making, and I want them to stop. And I can't tell how much of this is supposed to be like Daddy Sugimoto, like my young, I forget what her tribe is called. The
Ansui or I don't know. It starts with an A.
The people that live in the north.
Skylar? Okay. Skylar's doing that thing again where
I'm back. I came back again. Hello, it's me. Can you hear me?
He's back again. Hopefully James edits that out. If not, whatever, that's not that one wasn't too bad.
I don't know why that keeps happening.
I don't know either. But nothing we can do about it, so we can press on. You were saying more about this art that you want the artist to be flayed for?
That was you. Now you are the one cut off.
Okay. Well, artists who make like
Sick
Child
segue.
X-Man.
Oh yeah.
No, what? No, that wasn't a segue.
Okay,
I was just
never
saying
mind. Never mind.
Child X-Man. Like art is should be flayed. That's the
Yeah,
end
I
of that.
agree. I
Ain't
agree.
no
Because
segue from that.
all these people that read Usagi Drop and they're like, yeah, the ending was really good.
Oh, is that the one where the brother and the sister?
No, that's the one where it's like a guy's like he's like a single dude living by himself, and then like his cousin or some shit dies, and he ends up looking after her daughter, who's like a little girl, and so he like adopts this little girl who's like 9 or ish, like a tiny child, and then he raises her as his own child, and then the anime ends at a certain point in the manga where it's like, yeah, and then we live whatever, and then the manga continues after that point though with a time skip where now the girl that he raised is in high school, and then the development of the plot in this particular segment of the story is that the little girl that he raised apparently never thought of him as her father, and instead has been in love with him this whole time. And now that she's like, yeah, I love you, Daddy, and then he's like, oh no, and then she graduates and then they fuck, and that's the end of the manga.
Someone told me about this before, and I just thought they were lying.
Yeah, it's really not good, and it's really not great. So if you want a wholesome manga about a father, just watch the anime for Usagi Drop instead, because the anime is actually very good. And the earlier bits of the manga is also good too. Like the parts of the manga, like the anime adapts, are also good. Then it's just that whole last bit of the manga is just like, that's just awful. You ruined everything. How did you ruin it so quickly? And like,
I don't know,
like so,
but
like so.
Speaking of series that can ruin themselves very quickly, we got a new trailer from Dragon Ball Super Broly. And it is, so yeah, that's where I said it. I watched Dragon Ball. That shit sucks, but I love it. Fight me. Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were talking about how James was complaining about how this trailer ruined the movie for him.
Yeah, well, James is an idiot. I don't understand his. Like, I do agree. If anything, you can be mad at Toei because they use that as an official trailer.
Yeah, this
like,
man
it was
got
just
mad
like,
at Claus
hey, I
for
found
posting
some
the trailer.
leaked footage. Huh?
Yeah, we're saying that James got mad at Claude for posting the trailer in chat when it came out.
Yeah, so it's like I was like,
it was Claude's fault for spoiling.
So what had happened was, I saw it, and I was like, oh man, this is gorgeous. And I posted it, and he was like, I wish you didn't share it with us because, I wanted this to be a surprise. There's a couple things wrong with that. My rage blinded me from some of the points, but Skylar brought them up. The biggest one is like literally any piece of news that came out from Dragon Ball Super Broly, we have talked about because of how hyped we are. So why would that one be an exception? Two, and this is my biggest thing, he's like, oh yeah, you don't watch trailers stuff because you don't want to be surprised. It's fucking Dragon Ball. I enjoy Dragon Ball for nostalgia and for the dumb fights and the dumb moments, but that's it. This isn't like something that's a story that I'm super invested in. This like the concept of I know Gogeta's in the movie, so I might not want to watch the movie. I hope he gets hit by a truck and it's brought back as a zombie idol. Huh?
By the way, that's the thing we're talking about is the trailer that has Gogeta in.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Gogeta is canon now.
Yeah, he's canon, just like Broly, which is like I'm like, oh man, yeah, he was in the Janemma movie. I would never have assumed that he'd be here. Because I don't even know if Vegeta doesn't even know about the fusion dance. Well, he does know because of Gotenks. Because originally he was taught in the Janemma movie because like they were hiding behind some like spikes, and he's like, all right, you gotta do this dance with me, Vegeta. It's like, no. Do you think they're gonna fuck it up and get fat Gogeta?
Oh, that would be. They probably if so they'd put that in during like a training montage where they try and they fuck up and they get fat Gogeta and they're like, what the fuck is this? And then they get it right during the fight or something.
Now, that's possible. My only thing is I don't see them in a fight with Broly and then leaving to train and then coming back afterwards. Like, they could get away with that in the Goku Black because that's a different dimension they keep coming back and forth from. Broly's just on Earth with Frieza.
I guess. I can see like a stalemate occurring, maybe. But it's, it would depend how they, like a fight that comes to like a halt, where it's like Broly's like, nah, I'm gonna fuck off now. And they're like, well, I guess we gotta deal with, he's gonna come back and we gotta be strong before he gets back. Who fucking knows? Who even cares?
James apparently.
Yeah. I mean, this is really cool. Obviously,
yeah, it's cool. Much cooler than my initial thought of they're just gonna have him do Ultra Instinct again, but now he masters it. Like, this is actually way more interesting for Gogeta to be going against Broly.
Yeah.
Why didn't they turn to Gogeta against Jiren? You know what? Never mind. I don't care.
No, because Jiren wasn't strong enough. He didn't require it.
I guess not.
The man that can punch time, not strong enough.
That's so stupid. Because what does that even mean?
I said it. I don't understand what I said.
Because it's just he's like, you've been put in a time stop. Now I'm gonna throw you off, and he just flexed out of it.
He flexes out of it. Like, he's too strong.
You're stronger than time, Jiren. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Stronger than this abstract concept that is based around human perception. Okay, but what if it was like a thing where it's like, because time, it's like the ways you think about time, right? There's like the I forget what it's called. There's like the school of thought about how time is like is completely based around like human perception and it's biased, and that all time happens simultaneously all at once, and we just view it linearly, but it's not actually linearly. But what if he's just so strong that he just lives in a space where he can see all of time all at once simultaneously?
The only problem with that is that he was stopped for a time. He broke out of it.
Yeah. Oh.
So if it was like, if it didn't affect him at the beginning, I could believe that because of that nonsense. But the fact that stuff was working on him and he just got so strong that it couldn't contain him anymore, I'm like, all right, well, like, you're not ripping out of a jail cell. You're ripping out of time. Whatever.
No,
Netflix gets the rights to several anime. That made me mad. Think about this is why I don't care about what, the whole like, Goji's in the movie. Dragon Ball's fucking stupid. It's just fun to watch.
This movie looks pretty, so I'm excited.
It looks gorgeous. I don't think I've ever seen a Dragon Ball. The only time I've ever seen a Dragon Ball movie that I was actually super hyped as far as the animation goes, I could think of, Tree of Might looks gorgeous.
That was the one that where like Goku fights that thing in like the big orange space or whatever. I forget what it's like. It's one of the older Dragon Ball movies.
Tree of Might's where he fought the other Goku, Turles.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
But then the other one is the one where he had to go like up north, because a lot of them actually take place in fucking Antarctic, and he had to stop that doctor who was like worked with Dr. Gero. Like both of those are very well animated and very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
anyway.
Yeah, I didn't have a segue, but Netflix gets the rights to several anime. The only two we'll be talking about is Ultraman, and then Scott is going to talk about Ava and what's going on with that.
Oh yeah.
For Ultraman, I mean, dope. I would not have expected, especially with.
Yeah, they announced this a bit ago, actually, but the trailer for it looks pretty good. Yeah, it was announced. I don't know, a couple of months ago, I think, and the reason why this exists, this exists, and this show being what it is why Trigger is making Gridman and not Ultraman, because Akira Amamiya is a huge Ultraman fan, obviously because he's a big fan of Anno, who's also a huge Ultraman nerd, and so he went and asked Tsuburaya if he could make a Ultraman anime when he was going to do the Gridman. I think I can't remember if it was before or after the Animator Expo short that he did about Gridman. But basically was like, hey, can I do an Ultraman thing? And they're like, nah, we're gonna make an Ultraman show. So instead, you can do one on Gridman or this other thing that I forget what it was called, but basically it was just an Ultraman. And he was like, I'll just do Gridman. So that's why Gridman is happening, in case you're wondering. But yeah. Anyway, this looks pretty cool. The CG in it actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm wondering how it's gonna look like during like the more intense scenes, because we haven't seen anything like a lot's going on, and that's when you can really tell like the quality of the CG. So I don't know, I'm right, like it's not like one of those shows like I look at off the bat and I'm like, oh, this is gross. This is like, okay, I need to see more.
Yeah.
But right now I'm not upset.
Yeah, the way it looks kind of reminds me of like an in between, like the Polygon Pictures shows, like what's it called, Ajin, like Macedonia, and like the new Mazinger Z movie, Mazinger Z Infinity. Like it's somewhere in between those in quality, with Mazinger Z Infinity being like the better looking. Yeah. And so I think it looks pretty good, to be honest. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. I wonder if it's an adaptation of the manga or not.
You think that was going to be its original thing? Because we get at least a bit of the plot, and I didn't get the start of Ultraman where it's like the father-son thing. So I don't know if that's how the manga starts or what.
Cool, because there's a pretty recent Ultraman manga.
Oh.
That is, I don't know if it's gonna be what this is based on or not, but I can't tell. Oh yeah, I think it is, because the Tomohiro Shimoguchi's name is on the cover. So yeah, it's Tomohiro Shimoguchi is the manga. So yeah, so this is gonna be an adaptation of that manga. This is the dude that it's the same manga artist that did the, I don't know if you've heard of Line Barrels of Iron Flame, which is like a medieval mecha thing. And he also he's also doing the Getter Devolution manga as well. His art is amazing. He had I'm just gonna post some of the covers for the Ultraman manga in chat. Maybe James can put them up or something. They look incredible. His art is really fucking. Yeah, so this will probably be pretty cool. Yeah.
And then Ava.
Yeah, and so then they've also licensed NGE, the classic show, not the rebuild films, which is crazy because this is not a thing that has happened. Like the show for NGE has fallen out of licensing favor for a long fucking time because of the company that owned the American rights for it, ADV, is kind of no longer in existence anymore. And they also got sued by Gainax briefly for trying to sell rights, I think, for the live action Eva movie. But I think that's why that's dead also, is because of like weird rights shit with ADV and the American licensing for the series and franchise and whatever. So like they have been holding on to the American license of the show and haven't done anything with it for a while. So I guess that Netflix had bought the show rights from them, so now they have it up for streaming. So it's going to be the 26 episodes of the show. It's going to be Death and Rebirth, which is the half recap movie, half preview for End of Evangelion. It's super weird. It's literally like the two segments is like Death is just a recap of the show with some new animation, and the added scenes from the director's cut episodes are in it as well. And then the Rebirth segment is just the first like 30 to 40 minutes of End of Evangelion.
What's all that in their background?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just what's happening with that, which is cool. I'm excited for that existing and people being able to watch it. I hope they keep the director's cut episodes in, and they don't have the normal what do you call it, the broadcast episodes, because those director's cut scenes are like pretty important. So they might keep those in, they might not. I hope they do. If not, they'll still be in the Death and Rebirth, so they still be there. But whatever. The other thing about this, though, is that they've also announced that they're redubbing the show, which kind of sucks, because I do like the dub for the old show. It's like, it's in this weird space where it's like kind of nostalgic for me, even though when I first watched Eva, I watched it subbed, and I didn't watch it dubbed until a little bit after that point. But I still like the dub actors are still very good. And I think the dub also is kind of iconic in some way. Like, there's some dub lines that I think like people just know. Like people know about like "I'm so fucked up" is like a thing, right? And people know like what Shinji screaming sounds like. Spike Spencer as Shinji is pretty iconic. And then like Asuka's voice actor I think was perfect. Tiffany Grant I think was her name, and she's like, she also spoke fluent German. So like in the dub they interjected a lot of German lines into her dialogue, like little words and stuff in her dialogue, and it was very natural and came off really well because she speaks German, and so that was interesting, and her performance in Evangelion is fantastic. So like I'm a little nervous about them redubbing it. The dub still, and the reason why they're redubbing it is also because of ADV, because they still own the rights for the dub.
Yeah, I was about to say, does it have something to do with or not licensing? Well, yeah, I guess licensing was the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, and so they probably refused to give it up. I think that was something people were talking about on Twitter. It hasn't been confirmed they're redubbing it yet, but Amanda Winley, who was the ADR director for the old show, basically has come out and said that she hasn't been contacted, which means that they would be redubbing it. Which is, it's, I'm not like, I don't hate it that they're doing it. I think it just kind of sucks that the old dub might not be available anymore. Because it's also like I want the old actors back, because they even brought them back for the rebuild movies that Funimation is doing. Like Funimation brought back the majority of the same voice acting cast, except for a couple of people. Like I think Gendo was replaced. But yeah, I think Gendo's had 3 different voice actors though over the course of the show's history, so that's not too bad. But like still Spike Spencer is still Shinji, and like Tiffany Grant still Asuka, and Amanda Winley I think was still Rei in the movies as well. And so like those are all good casting. So I'm scared that they're not going to be there anymore. But it could be fine.
Yeah, I mean you never know.
Yeah. I'm just happy that this is happening because it's been impossible to watch the show legally in the United States for a fucking long time. So we decided that now there is a way. Yeah. Also, in case you don't know, Amanda Winley also is the dub actress for Yukiko in Persona 4, and she has some pretty dank videos online, like actually dank videos, which teaches you about smoking weed and how cool that is. Yeah. It's a little bit of trivia for you. But yeah, that's that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, that's something I didn't really know anything about. Also, Bladerunner, because I've not seen that, so you can also tell us a bit about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll
Bladerunner
talk
and how
about
it's
Bladerunner. Okay, yeah. So this is cool. I'm happy. Okay, so yeah, so Crunchyroll announced a partnership with Adult Swim to do some sort of Blade Runner anime project. It's unclear how it'll be released or what's happening with it, but basically it's another Shinichiro Watanabe project. He's again executive directing on it, so similar to how he was doing it on Space Dandy, where he's more hands-off creatively and more just like handling production. But also how he is being going to be on Carol and Tuesday as well. Yeah, and it's this Blade Runner thing, and I guess it's going to be somewhat similar to it's going to be a more fleshed out version of the thing that they did to promote Blade Runner 2049, where they had like that 2022 Blackout short film thing that they made to promote the newer movie. So that's really cool because that short was fucking amazing, and it was like 15 minutes of just pure Sakuga, and it looks so fucking pretty. Yeah, and so this new thing, I think it's going to be. They said the way they talked about it, they said it's going to be a premiere season, so it'll be a full show, maybe with I don't know how many episodes, but more than one. It's being produced by I think it's called Sola Digital Arts, who I have looked up, and coincidentally, they are the team that is doing the CG for the Ultraman show we just talked about.
Oh,
and they also have done the CG for a Starship Troopers animation thing. They also handled production for Blade Runner Blackout 2022, which I just mentioned, and they did the Tekken 7 opening movie, and they also did for the Animator Expo they did Evangelion CG short, which was I think it was called Another Impact, which was like just like a short of like a random EVA unit going berserk in a city, and those things all look very pretty. Also they did the Appleseed Alpha movie from a while back. So
I'm not
like
familiar with that one.
these things, so this is the thing, right? Is that so it'll probably be CG. Whether or not it'll be photorealistic CG or anime CG is unclear, and but it'll probably be a CG thing. Which their output is fine that they work on it like that. But what's interesting is how it's connected to some of the staff they have announced for it. So the two people they have attached to the project they've announced so far have been Shinji Aramaki, who is obviously most known for his work on, I just mentioned Appleseed. I think he's I can't remember if he was the creator of Appleseed or if he was just the director of like the old anime OVAs. Because I can't remember if Shiro Masamune was the creator of Appleseed or not. Shiro Masamune being the guy who made Ghost in the Shell. But he's attached to this project. Okay, yeah, so the manga is by Masamune Shiro, but he did make the film version of Shinji Aramaki. And the other person is Kenji Kamiya, who is most known for directing Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. But this basically means that this new Blade Runner series is in really good hands. The studio doing the animation has a pretty decent output as far as visuals go. Their stuff looks pretty good. And the 2 people they have announced to direct the first 10 episodes are these 2 like talented and experienced cyberpunk like directors and writers. And so that's pretty fucking godlike. And Shinichiro Watanabe, as executive producer, means there's going to be a lot of talent that can be funneled into this project because he knows so many people.
Mm-hmm.
So this is pretty fucking exciting as a thing to exist. Because like the pedigree of people working on this is pretty fucking cool. And Blade Runner is fucking.
I need to stop procrastinating and actually get into Blade Runner because it's been something that, like it's been on my list. I just have not watched it or either of them.
I have the controversial opinion. Oh, so apparently it says this is going to be 13 episodes long.
Okay.
But there are no plot details yet. Yeah. Shinji Aramaki, by the way, also is most notable, I guess, most known for his mecha designs. He does them for a lot of things. And they're always like these really like hyper detailed, like very realistic mechanical robots. Like mechanical designs that are like, like not like super robots or like Gundams, but like more like tanks than anything else. He's really good at that.
So you're gonna say a controversial opinion?
Oh my controversial opinion on Blade Runner is that I prefer 2049 to the original. I don't know. That's just because they're both good movies, but I think 2049 was more concise in what it wanted to say about what it was saying, than the original movie was. But they're both pretty good, so I recommend that. Yeah, and then obviously they're like classic as fuck cyberpunk, like seminal, like this is what a lot of cyberpunk shit was based on, aesthetically, So yeah, and the old one still holds up too. The visuals look incredible.
Okay, yeah, no, we can.
But yeah,
I'm definitely interested in checking this shit out.
Yeah.
Oh damn! I'm actually looking at these Ultraman covers. This looks great.
Yeah, dude, that dude's art is pretty fucking cool. The Getter Devolution art makes me feel all kinds of ways inside. The way he draws Getter Emperor is like the coolest fucking shit.
I need to. So there, for just a quick side note before we go into the movie talk, when it comes to Getter, like I've seen the manga for Getter Devolution. Like, is it? How many series are there for Getter?
Okay, so if you're gonna want to read Getter Devolution, you should 100% read the old Getter mangas, because Getter Devolution is like a new thing that is like playing on weird franchise things about the old Getter manga and being like referencing it. Like the whole thing, right? So if I look it up really quick, I'm gonna forget it. But the full title of Getter Devolution is a reference to the full title of Getter Armageddon. Yeah, so the full title of Getter Devolution is Getter Robo Devolution, the last 3 minutes of the end of the universe, which obviously is a reference to Getter Armageddon's full title, which is like, let me look up before I get it wrong. It is the last day of the world, which is what that's called. So it's like kind of like a reference thing. So you should know things before it. What's weird about the Getter Robo franchise is that you have the manga series, which has a bunch of different like sub-series in it that are like chronological. So like you should read all of them. It's like Grappler Baki, where there's like a bunch of different series, but they're all the same one. Yeah. Like yeah. And then so there's that, and that's the continuity of Getter. That's the manga. That's the story. And then you have the old anime, which is kind of the same shit as like Devilman and Cutie Honey, and those things where it's like not really based on the manga at all. It's just like episodic shenanigans, whatever. It's like might as well be like a different series. But then you have the Getter OVAs, which are like Shin Getter Robo versus Neo Getter Robo, Getter Robo Armageddon, and New Getter Robo, and these are all like loose reinterpretations of the manga, and some of them are completely different entirely. Like Shin Getter versus Neo Getter is like a thing where like there's like dinosaurs. It was kind of based off of the arc from the manga with dinosaurs, but not really. Yeah, there are the dinosaur people that live under the earth, and they come up and they try to kill everyone, or whatever, because they are trying to reclaim the earth, but they get killed by Getter energy. So it's those are like that's kind of based off of that arc in the manga, but not.
How
really.
long is Getter? Like, is it like is a whole? Is it like massive or?
It's not. It could be. It's not that big. It's like not short, but it's not that long.
Okay.
And then there's like Getter Armageddon. I think is an original thing. Like it's like kind of a loose adaptation of the manga, but it has that one's production is weird because it's like, it was originally going to be directed and written by the guy who made like G Gundam and Giant Robo OVA, but he made like 4 episodes. And then for some reason there was like a dispute between like him and the people that are making the show, so he got fired and they brought someone else in. So the plot pivots fucking really hard after he leaves to be something else. And then new Getter Robo is a lot closer to the manga than the other ones, but it still like has things that are new and different in the manga as well. So like there's no like straight up manga adaptation. So they're all the anime that exist are all like weird variants of them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
so it's still
people.
Yeah, but I would recommend watching the OVAs eventually, especially Neo versus Shin Getter, because that one especially is so fucking short. It's 4 episodes long.
Okay. You're not manage that. I don't know, I guess to get onto the actual docket again, there's a Lion King movie coming out, and it's something that baffles me because I've heard about this, but I haven't seen anyone saying it, that it's a live action movie, even though it's not. I don't get it. Why are people saying that? Skylar? Oh boy.
I don't know why this is happening. I think am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
What the fuck to do with that is?
Anyway. I don't know.
Lion King movie.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I guess. Well, I think people are saying that it's live action because it's like the recent trend of Disney movies where they're just remaking like their old movies in live action now, like with Cinderella and like Jungle Book and like Beauty and the Beast. And so like those were all like live action remakes because they actually were like live action movies. Kind of. The Jungle Book was pushing it a little bit because you only had the one actor really.
Well, I mean, those all had people though. There's always people.
Yeah.
There's
so
no
I think
people.
People are just saying that because this is like a thing where it's in the same visual style as those 3D, as like it has the same visual style as the live action Jungle Book, right? So I think people are saying it because of that, and also they have like photorealism, like the animals.
But it is still completely CG. That does
I'm
not fit the
saying
definition of live action.
Not saying it's not dumb. I'm just saying that that's why people are saying it.
Well, those people are wrong. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, it is not a live action Lion King movie. There's no actual people in it.
I think I hate this one. Because I didn't mind the other ones. Like that's fine. That's whatever. I never would want to watch them over the original, but whatever. That's fine. They exist. But I think this one is like the most pointless because it's like you're removing so much of what made the original movie look so good. Like, because the trailer, right, is basically like a shot-for-shot remake of the opening scene of the movie, right, where they're all in Pride Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the old movie just looks so much better. Like the opening shot of the sun coming up is nowhere near as like it doesn't have as much atmosphere to it as the old movie does. The old movie had like the dark lighting with like, and then when the sun comes up, you have this really deep red color, and it's like a very like iconic visual. And the new movie like looks pretty, but it's not as pretty. And then like the animals doing their things don't look nearly as good. Like when the birds fly over the swamplands or whatever, like you don't have like the in focus animals in the background with the birds in the foreground. You still have like there's like a fog covering the water. You can't see what's happening as nice. And the colors just aren't as whatever. And so I feel like it's just like there's like you're just making an animated movie again, but you're remaking it and it doesn't look as good. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this one. I'm not a fan. I don't like it.
I don't have strong feelings on it. But I mean, I guess it's what makes them money. So like,
yes,
whatever Disney knows what to do with their money. I guess they're gonna pump it into Lion King by cutting off other areas, such as Daredevil. The Netflix Daredevil series has been canceled, which is weird to me because I've heard the season 3 was very, very good. Like it got like a lot of praise to it. I mean, but I don't know if they're just gonna cut off the Netflix series because they've already cut off Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Which Iron Fist
Daredevil was like the most popular one.
Yeah. So it's like, what's happening now? My rationale when they were like, "Oh, we're getting rid of Luke Cage and Iron Fist," is I thought they were gonna make a series of the two of them together, just call it Heroes for Hire, because that's they're like best friends and that's what they do. But no, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me, especially with that being like their kind of like
they
flag bearer.
Might consolidate them completely into just a straight up Defenders show. Like just have them all instead of having them having individual productions. You consolidate them all into just one production of the Defenders show. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I guess it saves them a lot of money instead of pumping out like 5 series constantly, focusing on one. Because I liked Defenders.
I still haven't seen it, to be honest. I think the last of those Netflix shows I watched was I watched Luke Cage, I watched Jessica Jones, but I watched them late though. Like I watched Jessica Jones like a year or so ago. That was the last one I saw actually.
It was good. Second Defenders?
Yeah, I mean, I heard Iron Fist was bad, so I didn't even try it.
Iron Fist was fucking terrible.
I don't want to waste my. And then I didn't actually finish Luke Cage, and I planned to do that before I went on to watch Defenders, but I never got around. So
there's also another one that's fine not to finish because the first how far are you in the series?
Like 4 episodes, I think.
Okay, there's a very certain point when the like momentum of the story shifts that like it goes from great because the beginning of that series is great. Cottonmouth is fantastic. But you get to a certain point in the series where like stuff changes and it's like, wow, this kind of blows. And it kind of like loses its focus in it. It gets the problem that all of the Netflix series have where it just is an episode or two too long. Like you could have been better if you just stopped at episode 10 instead of at 13. I feel like that's the series of all of them that like suffers from that the worst. And I'm saying all of them because I think just in general, Netflix or Iron Fist season 1 should not have happened because it fucking sucks.
Okay, well.
And speaking of things probably sucking, we know that Cowboy Bebop's getting its live action adaptation, and apparently it's going to be 10 episodes long.
Okay, so I have like very strong feelings about this. I don't know if I've talked about it before, and with any of you guys. But so I think like the more I think about a live action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop, the more I dislike it in concept. Because basically my thing, right, is that Cowboy Bebop is not easy to adapt, because like what do you do, right? It's not a show that has a straightforward narrative, right? Because it's mostly episodic with the characters doing shenanigans and stuff. Right. So and there is an overarching narrative that exists, but it's not really like the point of the show. In fact, the entire creative ethos of the show, which they tell you during the OP in every episode, is like this idea of like improvisation and keeping things fresh and keeping things new and making your own thing and being creative. So like, what are they gonna do with this remake of the show? Are they gonna adapt episodes, like a best of episodes of the show, and then do like Spike's story or something? Or are they gonna just make up their own like 10 episodes of episodic bullshit and then do Spike's story or something? Are they gonna like just do a straight up like straightforward narrative type thing, like built around like somewhat episodic episodes or something, or whatever? And I don't see how you adapt this property and keep the original like spirit of the original alive. And I don't see how it's actually possible. How you do it?
Do you think they can they can do Vicious and not make him seem like a shitty edgelord?
No, I don't think that at all. And it's like there's several different things that they could do, and I think all of them just wouldn't work. Like, because it's like and again, I'm not someone that hates the idea of anime adaptations. I want to make that clear that I'm not hating this because it's like, oh, Hollywood trying to do anime. I don't think that's an inherently bad idea. For example, I don't hate the idea of J.J. Abrams adapting Your Name. I think that would be fine. Like, people would like it. I mean, it kind of takes away some of the appeal of the film because you're losing Shinkai's like amazing photorealistic art. But like, whatever. It'll be fine probably. But this though, I just don't see how it could work. I don't see it at all, and it makes me mad when I think about it for more than a little bit, because it's like the original like mission statement of the show that plays during the OP, like in like all the background text and stuff is a big long write up on like the mission statement of the series, and it's all about being creative and making your own things and whatever. And now we have this like new adaptation that's banking on like people remembering this property's name, and it just doesn't sit well with me. I'm not looking forward to it, to be completely honest.
For me, it's like, okay, if they had to do one of the two, which would you prefer? All original stories or best 10 episodes of the show?
I would prefer original stories, and even preferably with a new cast entirely. Like, that's best case scenario, is that they're borrowing the setting and it's all new characters.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Like, no Spike, no nothing. Okay. Well, I mean,
yeah.
Hard to do when the name of the ship they're on is the Bebop.
I mean, sure, but you don't necessarily need the show to be about those characters, right? Like, the setting works fine in and of itself. So, I mean, I just don't want them to touch it, basically, because it contradicts the entire point of the series itself. Because it's like, if they just do a linear narrative based show, that's shit. Because the whole the thing with the show episodes being called sessions and like the use of jazz and stuff is that the series is supposed to evoke the feeling of a jam session. So like episodes are like different riffs off of the same sort of ideas and stuff. So like that's like, and so like making it a linear narrative fucks that up completely. So the idea of that makes me and then I just don't really have faith in them being able to do the other things good, to having episodic plots, or like what are they going to do about Ed? How is that going?
They'll just make Ed an annoying girl. That's it.
And then how do you? I have no faith in them being able to do Faye's story well either. So yeah.
I was actually rewatching. I'm rewatching the series with my girl because she hasn't watched it before, but I'm on a rewatch, and we got to the first of Phase 2 backstory episodes, and like I completely forgot the dude just like passed all of his debt onto her. I was like, man.
Yeah, dude's fucked. Yeah, I'm rewatching it with my brother at the moment also. So yeah, so I have some fresh Bebop feelings also.
What was the episode you said you hated? You said there's one episode of Cowboy Bebop you didn't like.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I don't like it that much. That's Boogie Woogie Feng Shui. It's the one where like that girl comes to Jet and is like, yeah, my dad died or some bullshit. And but he's not dead, he got lost in like the slipstream or whatever. And she has to go like find him in the hyperspace. Like that episode is why I don't like that much.
Let me see, when is that? How far is that from? Because I actually don't remember that episode.
It's kind of near the end.
Yeah, okay.
Close to the end.
Because we just finished Mushroom Samba, where it's like, okay, find food for us, Ed.
That's such a great episode.
It is. We have a couple more. I'm super, because my favorite, like, that's not Spike related, is Pierre Lafoi. I fucking love that episode.
Yeah, Pierre Lafoi.
Which, God, imagine, what would you say if they did redo the episodes and that was the pilot?
That would be dumb. Why would you have that as the pilot? Doesn't make any sense.
It's fat. It's not even fat. This man in this weird suit bouncing around laughing.
Yeah, that's one of those episodes that you can even do, and like, I don't even know how that would work.
Like, the line that makes me love it as much as I do, it's one simple line, is when they're talking about him, like, at the end of the episode, when it's like he's regressed the mindset of a child, and as you can know, as you know, children are cruel. Something about that I was like, damn, because like he just goes around killing people.
Yeah, I think my low-key one of my favorite parts of that episode is the like almost lawsuit-worthy recreation of Pink Floyd's "On the Run" that plays during the scene where it's showing him being like tortured by like the government so he can regain his powers or whatever. Because the song that plays during that bit is just like, it's like a just different enough version,
legally distinct.
Yeah, legally distinct version of "On the Run" from Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. Yes, I mean, like, this is gonna be. I mean, I'm withholding formal judgment until a trailer drops, but I have very little faith in this project.
Alright, I already got the pilot trailer for it. You see a man with a ridiculous bird on his shoulder slowly walk into a room, right? And then he's cackling. No, he's not even cackling. They'll do him close enough. He says a bunch of edgy lines, and like he's like, send out the hit, and you see multiple characters just looking at messages they've received. You see that woman who like was the animal rights activist, the one who had like that stuff that could turn people in ships. Yeah. You see her
Mama or whatever.
Yeah, you see her. You see Pierre Lafoi. You see the dude who set up Jet, his old partner. You see
Black Dog.
Yeah, Black Dog Serenade, such a good fucking episode. You see the space gunk in the fridge. God, like it's just all the stuff you wouldn't have expected to see, and it's like that's hinting at everything that's in the episode. Granted, the space gunk wouldn't receive a message because it's its own thing.
Because it's old space lobster that went bad.
That's terrifying too. The concept of like if your food gets bad for too long. What was that episode called? Toys in the Attic.
Toys in the Attic, yeah.
Also one of my favorite episodes because I love Alien.
Yeah. Also, episode title is a sick Pink Floyd reference. Also.
Should probably I can mark out about Cowboy Bebop for too long. Fuck was the next thing? Sony announces Spider-Women as a thing. Yeah, so this was weird to me, right? We have the Miles Morales Spiderverse movie coming out, which apparently, had some reviews and apparently it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I'm also looking forward to seeing it.
And the thing that confuses me is even though it's not out, they've already confirmed they want to do a movie with the female Spider-Man characters. We don't know which ones. Could be Gwen Stacy. She's hot right now, so they might use her. I don't know who else, but yeah, they've confirmed that as a thing. I feel like they're jumping the gun. I mean, granted, it's Spider-Man, so they're gonna make their money, and it's Marvel, so it's not like they won't just be fine if it's not okay. But I don't know. I just feel it was weird to like so soon be like, we're making Spider-Women.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the thing that's happening. I guess it's kind of cool, but it's definitely presumptuous of them to announce things before things come out.
Is it cool because she's white and she has a hood?
Yeah, that's why she's better than Miles Morales, because she's white. No one will ever get context for that.
No one will understand that, and it's better that way.
What the hood is cool, okay? That's just how it be. But like I don't know that much about some of the like extended Spider Family characters. Like I obviously know about Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales. But I don't know that much about like Scarlet Spider's deal or like Kane. I mean, I kind of know what Kane's, but I don't really know that much about it. And then I know like almost nothing about any of the female Spider, like all the Spider Women's and stuff. I don't know shit about that. So, I mean, I know who Penny Parker is because of the meme images of her hanging out with Bateau from Ghost in the Shell and piloting an Eva unit, but but like that's all I got. So yeah, I mean, this could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot to talk about on it right now, but I'm looking forward to seeing what what they're gonna do. I just feel like it was weird when they decided, like, okay, now's when we talk about this.
Yeah, now's the time before the movie comes out.
Let's see. So moving on to the next thing, we'll be jumping into our gaming news. And this makes me a little bit sad, but like, okay, I guess someone with a Smash, like its street date was broken. I don't know who or how, but some people got their hands on the game and they uploaded it, and then there's people who are, not so patient, and then they just got the game and they're playing it right now. And apparently online works too, which is weird. I don't know, like some things for that I don't care about, but I feel bad in this, like, because I know Sakurai is fucking exhausted. He's tired. He doesn't even want to do this anymore. He wants to make Kirby games or something else. And he's putting his all into this, and then this is the second time it's happened in a row. This happened with Brawl 2, or Smash 4 too. I don't think it was this far out that it happened for Smash 4. No,
he was mad about it in Brawl. People put all the cutscenes from Suspect Emissary on YouTube. He was like, "What's the point of spending all this time, energy, and money making these really expensive, lavish FMVs? People are not even going to buy the game to watch them." He was very mad.
Yeah,
I think there was a leak for Smash 4, if that's what you're talking about.
I knew there was some stuff for the last two games. I was like, man, I just want this game to come out and like it to be good and have people and have Sakurai be like, I'm done, and I'm happy what's happened with this, because he deserves some rest. He looks fucking exhausted. It sounds it too. Yeah, I mean, for me, it sucks. It really does suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's whack.
Yeah, so what's your stance
whack.
on this?
I mean, sorry, I'm eating some peanuts. Give me 1 second. But
Okay.
I mean, it sucks that the street data is broken, shit's leaking, and all that's whack, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this happens all the time. I'm not like more upset about this than I would normally be for a leak. Really, my only outstanding feeling on this is that I thought it was really funny that when Street Date broke, that everyone assumed that it was the Mexicans that did it. Like the people thought that
the Mexicans.
Yeah, because the rumor was that someone stole it off of the back of a Mexican delivery truck. I'm like, wow, okay. That's it. That's all I got. I don't really have strong feelings about this.
Okay, so that's fine. Okay, I guess. Fuck it. Of course, it went down for a second. There we go. Next thing is Zelda series producer teases Skyward Sword coming out on Switch. I apparently what is it happen exactly? I know he was at a concert and he made some hints, being like, "Hey, this could be a thing." Like,
now,
what exactly happened?
Nintendo. I don't actually know the story of what he did. I mean, I think it's basically he was some producer. Was at like one of those like Symphony of the Goddess type concerts and was like, well, maybe we'll see it on the Switch or whatever. I forget what he said. That was the thing. But I remember correctly, I think Nintendo came out almost immediately and was like, nah, we're not doing that. Like it was like almost instantly deconfirmed by Nintendo.
Oh, that's funny. I was like, no.
But but they could just be lying. Because again, it's not uncommon for Nintendo to port up all of their like the previous gen Zelda games, right? Like Wind Waker HD came out on Wii U, and like so did Twilight Princess HD also. Right, those both came out on the Wii U. So I guess like Skyward Sword didn't get anything on the Wii U, but it might get something on the Switch. Who knows? Like they haven't not been porting things like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3DS version. So like who knows? They might be doing this too, but they might not. Skyward Sword is kind of an unpopular one, so maybe they wouldn't do it for that one. But like it wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Okay. Well, I guess don't get your hopes up. Things could shift. You never know. But yeah, don't get your hopes up.
Really, all I like from Skyward Sword is Demise, and I love the theme. Also, I like Skyward Sword Zelda. But the theme is so good. I love the main theme from Skyward Sword.
I played like barely any of Skyward Sword. I played enough where I got to Earth, right? And that was it. I got to this like giant chasm or whatever, and I found out about Ganon. I think I don't even remember. It wasn't Ganon. What was it?
It's Girahim.
Is his name?
Right. Yeah, the villain guy that's like very flamboyant.
Okay.
Yeah, Girahim.
Yeah.
He's cool. I actually like him also. Like
I
he's
didn't
cool.
see enough of him to make an opinion.
His boss fight is cool. He's cool. His boss fight is cool, and then the final boss fight is really cool.
I remember him throwing shit at me and then walking forward and like maybe reflections. I don't really remember too much. It's been a while and I didn't play much of the game.
It's kind of Virgil. I think there's multiple boss fights with him. Yeah. Also, a cool fact about the Skyward Sword theme is that it's in reverse. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it is Zelda's Lullaby. If you play it backwards.
That's interesting.
Which is pretty cool.
Okay. Well, on to other things that are pretty cool, we got 13 minutes of gameplay, specifically fighting scenes from Judge Eyes. Were you ever able to check that out?
I wasn't able to look at it, but I saw that thumbnail and it looks pretty fucking sick. I guess I can take a look at it right now. While you're talking about it.
Let's go for it. Where to post it? NVIDIA or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't know where else would. So it's hard, not much to say except it's dope. Like it has a lot of what you'd expect from like a Yakuza like game. But like the thing is, and maybe it happened in other Yakuza games. The only one I've played so far is 0. It has a lot that seems like very like situational. Like, hey, I have an enemy behind me and an enemy in front of me. So while I did my heat move, I have a different move that just attacks the both of them. Or it's like I don't know, it looks vicious. It's as vicious as you'd expect from a Yakuza type game.
Yeah, because there were some moves in like Yakuza 0 that were like that, where like the breakdancing style moves. You have a couple that only work when there's one person sitting in front of you and one person sitting behind you. So like extending that seems like a really cool idea for combat. I've also seen some stuff, some of the earlier stuff, where it seems like there's like really fast style switching in this, which is fucking sick. Yeah. This looks fantastic.
For anyone who's not sure what I'm talking about, just type in look in YouTube. The name of the video is Judge Eyes 13 minutes of pure dynamic action.
Hard,
yes.
Yeah, this looks really good.
Actually, when it comes to these heat moves, what was like the most vicious looking one to you in Yakuza 0?
Yakuza? Okay, well in Yakuza 0, I really love the ones with it's one with like an item with I think it's with Majima, where he just like picks up a thing and then smashes it so hard over someone's head that they spin around completely in the air before they hit the ground. Their head goes forward, but the force sends them in a spin so they land on their back instead of landing on their face. Yeah, I think it's fucking fucked up. I think the most like raw one in the entire series is probably the one that what's his name, Sajima has in Yakuza 4, where he like picks up a dude and then runs full speed at a wall and slams their face into the wall, and then he slams their face back into the wall again. It's so fucking ridiculous. It just looks so fucking brutal.
The one for me, which is like I can never like not think it's vicious. There's two. I'm trying to remember what happens. There's one with oh my god, he kicks this dude's knees, and I didn't see that part before. There's one with a knife that ends up as like that guy should be murdered because you stabbed him in his guts. But the other one that's like vicious is Kiryu, where he grabs you and then just shoves a fistful of nails in your face and smears it around. I'm like, that's one's. You're never gonna look the same again. That's the end of that.
That one's pretty fucked up. There's the one in Yakuza 6. That's the one where you can like enter convenience stores without having to go through the loading screen. So like there's bits in that game where you can grab someone during a fight and walk into a convenience store and then slam their head into a microwave and then tell the person behind the counter to turn the microwave on, so they get like shocked by the power going through like the thing while their head's in it. And that one is just fucking rough. I actually think there's one in Yakuza 0 where you slam their head into like a live oven to burn their face. There's a couple of those context sensitive ones that are really fucking rough. And like you have killed this man, and they're dead now.
Some of them are definitely like this. Like, dude shouldn't survive. Like, how's it Kiryu hasn't killed someone when there's a cutscene in Yakuza 0 where you drop kick a man out of like a with enough momentum that you fling yourself out of the building too.
There's the part at the end when you shoot the helicopter with a rocket launcher. So they telling me that fucking guy in the helicopter is not dead? We shot him with a rocket launcher.
You look close enough, you'll find the parachute.
The helicopter blew up.
But,
it's okay, I can see their parachutes.
What is that? Where did that come from? What was the origin of that?
It's from a Dragon Ball dub. I think the old one. That was
it when Nappa killed all the people?
Yeah, when I think it was Nappa blew up like the news helicopter or whatever. Yeah, and
because
then
there was one time where Nappa just attacked the Air Force, and then there was of course like Cell destroying the helicopter that was just like watching the Cell games.
It might have been that, I can't remember. It was someone. I think it was Ren Saiyan Saga though. Yeah, and it's just like it pans down to see Goku, everyone like looking up at the explosion, and then Goku just says offhandedly, "It's okay, I can see their parachutes."
Yeah, yep.
You know that they haven't died, which is like it's like the next best thing after I sent them to the Shadow Realm. But yeah, so this Judge looks like legitimately fantastic.
Makes me mad in my heart when James was like, I was like, oh,
I don't want more Yakuza games, except this looks like a different thing, but just with the similar gameplay style.
Which is like the appeal, like for him at least, because it's like he's seen all the LPs from the best friends.
He punched that guy in the dick. Like that was raw as fuck. He just like spread his legs and then punched him right in the crotch.
What time?
At 6:30, I guess we go to it.
Okay, sorry folks, I need to see this.
God, actually no, he might have punched him in the face. The angle's kind of weird, but it really looks like he punched him right in the fucking dick.
Yep, it was in the face.
Damn, I really wanted that to be like a brutal, like emasculation.
Yeah,
by,
no, they ain't
by
gonna
a
do all
fist.
that. That'd be funny, but they ain't gonna do all that now.
You don't know. Like they
Yeah,
very well could.
don't. You actually don't know. But moving on, what the fuck? Oh yeah, lot of fun going on at Bethesda. A lot of fun going on there.
God, they're getting
firms.
fucked. What a bunch of idiots.
They're fucking themselves. Law
Yeah, I know,
firm
they
investigates
all
Bethesda.
of this on themselves.
They did. Oh man, we'll get into it. But law firm investigating Bethesda due to them not giving refunds to people. How much do you know about this part of it?
Okay, so this is I think for PC refunds, and they're
I
basically.
think this is all around.
Well, I know, but I think it was specifically people being upset about not being able to get refunded on Steam, because there's part of Steam policy specifically is that you can refund if you have like less than 2 hours played or something, and so they're refusing refunds on Steam, even though it's part of the website's policy, right? So yes, people are upset about this obviously because that's scummy as fuck. You know, that's very anti-consumer to a point of ridiculousness. So they are suing, fucking what do you call it? They're suing Bethesda for like, I think it's saying false. Is the suit false advertising or misleading advertising or something?
That's for the second part of it.
Okay, I think this might just be for being anti-consumer in general, because that's like, I don't think you're allowed to do that. To refuse refunds for a product, especially when it's part of the policy of the website that they're on.
The weirdest part is that they were giving refunds for a time, and then they just hit a point where they stopped.
And then they stopped. Yep. And I think that's why, because if they had refused the whole time, maybe they wouldn't be able to sue. But because they stopped allowing refunds, that's like a I don't think you can do that, because that's like clearly you're trying to like, you know, like stop losses from occurring in a way that's not allowed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bethesda's. I can't believe it.
It's like, drop the ball harder, Bethesda. Is that possible? Well, I guess it is, because the second part of this news story is their collector's edition and the nonsense with that. So they advertise it with all the stuff. You can look up the collector's edition because they haven't changed it. And one of the things they promised is a canvas bag. And to their credit, at least in the promotional photo, the canvas bag looked pretty good. Well, they shipped it out, but they without telling anyone They changed it from a canvas bag to a nylon bag, and it looks like garbage. They didn't even iron it. It's just a crinkled up bag in your collector's edition. It's like, hey, this isn't what I asked for. What's going on here? And someone, apparently they've come out and said that this is someone who they was contracted. It's not an official Bethesda employee, but they're like talking about like, yeah, we understand there's a lot of complaints, such and such and such. We have no plans to do anything about this. I'm like, wow, you shot yourselves in the foot. Like, what is happening here? How are you fucking up this bad? You're not EA. You've messed up before, but this is the worst I've ever seen. Like, and the reason, the rationale by itself makes sense. It is, we wanted to do canvas, but canvas was way too expensive, so we went for a cheaper material as nylon. Isolated from everything else in this scenario, that makes sense. It's too expensive for production, okay. But you didn't change your advertising, and it's still to this day advertised as you'll get this edition with the canvas bag. So, like, you actually lied to your customers. And, like, oof. Like, this whole thing is a nightmare scenario. All of this is just a cherry on top for the fact that the game runs like shit and is buggy as all hell.
Yeah, like I say, I can't believe it. I can't believe they have fucked up everything so hard, even the consumer end of the. Because, like, I fully expected Fallout 76's game to be a seeming disaster because the Create engine, or whatever, I think it's what their engine is called, is so old. I have no confidence in their ability to retrofit that shit to work right now. But outside of that, I can't believe they messed up, like, even the, like, basic ass, like, consumer end thing, like, parts of this. It's so fucked and bad.
How old is their engine again?
It was made for Morrowind. It was made for
Morrowind?
Yeah.
I remember James said that, and I thought he meant, like, Oblivion. I was like, okay,
nope.
No. When did
for Morrowind.
When did it come out? 2000?
Like,
2002?
Look it up. Yep.
2004?
It came out in 2002.
The game is old enough. Like, the engine for that game is old enough to drive. Like, like that.
Yeah.
Why are they still? Oh no.
Yeah, man.
No.
It's real bad. It's real bad.
And they, and I know they've already confirmed that it's gonna be. We've talked about this before, but yeah, it's gonna be the one on the next Skyrim and the Starlink or Star whatever.
Yep. So they literally the world refused to change. They don't like. I don't get how they still think this is acceptable.
Because it saves them money from switching to a new engine. They don't have to pay nobody.
I guess, but like, fuck, man, it's so old. It's falling apart. It can barely keep up with modern games. Like, in ideal circumstances, right? Because like even Fallout 4 looks only okay, and this looks worse than Fallout 4 does. By the way, have you seen some of the whack bullshit where it's like with like the code? It's like apparently one of the when you put in the disc for Fallout 76, the game actually checks first to see if the disc for Fallout 4 is in before checking to see if 76 is in before launching. I don't know. I don't know why it's like that, but someone went to the code and they saw that was a thing. God.
I mean, what do they gain? Like, what do they gain with that knowledge?
I don't know. I just thought that, like, that's really dumb. That exists.
I was like, have they supported us before? Push transactions harder.
I also love the memes that are coming out where like there's like the meme where it's like the first patch or whatever for Fallout 76 is like 48 gigs, and then someone looked up like what's the file size for Skyrim, and they changed it so it's the same thing. So it's just like an image of Todd Coward's face like looking at you with a gun pointed at the camera.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Fucking godlike.
Oof.
Yeah, so please look forward to Bethesda's future legal battles.
Could they literally mess this up any worse? Do you think there's anything else they could do between now and next podcast?
They could like go outside and have some guy dressed up as like a vault boy, like murdering puppies live on TV.
That's what we get to. That's the point of their getting up.
Yeah, or like you go to like a kid with like that has cancer, and they're like, will you fix Fallout 76 before I die of cancer? And then they like send him like a Pip-Boy that just has the words "no" written on it. And then but he's like, but I don't have a smartphone to put in my Pip-Boy. And they're like, well, get fucked, you kid. And they leave.
Because this has been on our docket, like early Fallout 76 has been for the last couple weeks. I was like, can they manage a third week in a row? But I don't know. They're a shit show. That's all I can say. And I look forward to seeing, like you said, their financial struggles in the future, lawsuits and all. So with that done, we're done with the news. So we will go into our final segment, which is a spoiler cast. And today we're having our spoiler cast on Gurren Lagann. Now,
James refuses to watch it. So
all right. So this is the part
we can do it when he's not here.
Because I've talked to James before, surprisingly enough.
Wow, I never knew.
Well, I mean, I don't often talk to him. I often scream in his general direction. And he has been keeping true to his word. He's like, you know what? Fine, I'll listen to recommendations. And shocker, he's been loving the recommendations that like I've been giving or that like you gave. I'm taking credit for Flip Flappers because I scream about it all the time. And then
that's
of course
fine.
there's Hunter x Hunter.
I'll give you that.
I'm pretty sure you're the one who talked to him about Hoseki no Kuni, so
yeah, I talked to him more about that. Yeah,
he's been watching the stuff that like we've been talking about, and like he asked me the other day, he's like, "Hey, give me another show to watch." I was like, "Aren't you watching a couple things?" He's like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna be done with Flip Flappers soon, and Hoseki no Kuni's not long, so give me something else." I was like, "You can finally watch Gurren Lagann," and then he was like, "No." I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, he abjectly refuses to watch it, so we can do it when he's not here. Because fuck that guy.
But on the bright side, despite him needing to be fucked, he did take my recommendation and he's watching Ping Pong next.
I thought he'd seen that already.
No, George saw it. He didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't even know where to start with Gurren Lagann. I love that show. It's in my top 10. It's on the back half of the top 10, but it's still up there.
I think, Gurren Lagann used to be my number 1, and now it's like my number 5 to 6 around. Mm-hmm. But it's been in my top 10 since I've seen it. I recently rewatched it with my brother, and I got all the same feelings again that I did the first time I watched it. And that show is so much fun. It's so good. It's like
that show.
Perfect
like
a show.
For me, it's a roller coaster where at the beginning I was like, okay, whatever. I really like Kamina. Kamina really stands out to me. And then you get to the part where it's like, you get to episode 8. I'm like, I felt things for that episode because Kamina was like my favorite character. I loved him. And then I was like, what's going to happen? And you get to episode 9. I was like, Simon's a piece of shit. Like, I get it. No, I get it. Like, it's not even that he's a piece of shit. It's completely justified. Like, why he's like super emotional and whatnot. He doesn't know how to handle half this shit, and like he's kind of the cause of Kamina's death. Because if he had his shit together at the beginning, Kamina would never have had to stop his mech.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and then like I went on this part. I was like, okay, all right, well, whatever. We'll see how I like the show. And I got a couple episodes in, and I was like, I'm liking it, but I'm not liking it as much without Kamina. And then they got to the part where they fight the Spiral King. And I was like, all right, that's a good episode. And then I didn't know there would be a time skip. That threw me off more than anything, kept me super invested. Where it's like, hey, there's a whole police force, and their mechs are based off of Gurren, or Gurren Lagann, and it's just like, it's a show that keeps pushing the envelope, and it went from like me being up and down with it to just start skyrocketing upwards, and it's fantastic. Yoko is also the mistress of death. Never fall in love with her.
Yeah, she will kill you. That's why she dies alone at the end.
She will kill you or any chance you have a relationship.
For me, I think with Gurren Lagann, it was always an escalation of me like getting more and more invested as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
But like early on, I was still like, this is cool, right? Getting into it. I think for me, I might have had Kamina dying spoiled. I might have had that spoiled for me, right? But I don't remember. But I remember my feeling was that when he died, was that I was sad that he died, but I wasn't upset that he wasn't around anymore because he went out on such a high note. It was like he died, and the way he died was so cool, and that moment was so fantastic that I was just like, I can't even be upset. Like that, what a fucking G. He died in the coolest possible way. So I had to accept it and move on. I was like, that he died a warrior's death. That was cool as fuck. So I was pretty okay with it. And then I'm like, I feel like I'm in general, because I guess like my thing with Gurren Lagann, I think I watched it off of Evangelion. So I like was in the mode of being very accepting of Simon being sad for like 3 episodes before he fights Quam and he gets a waifu appears and saves him from being sad. And then he fights a big monster. And so like that all was really cool. So like the whole series just keeps getting more and more amazing for me as it goes, with some standout moments at the end of the first arc, right? Like the whole like siege of Teppelin is like incredible. Some of the best shit in anime like of all time. Like there are some of my favorite shots in anime which are just clustered all over that episode. Like the bit where it like just pans around and you see like Gurren Lagann dwarfed by like the Teppelin fortress, and then he like spreads his wings while like it's like underneath him. You have this super like low angle shot. That's fucking sick. And then you have the shot of like Gurren Lagann posing on the bow of like Daiguren, and then it zooms out and you see all the people like fighting with them or whatever. And there's like that shot of Lord Genome as he gets out of Lazengan to go punch Simon in the face. like that whole like that episode is amazing. Gurren Lagann might be one of the like best animated TV shows also. Like overall.
I think like although I watched Gundam and whatnot, I didn't really have another mech show get me, and that one got me mainly because like I love the concept of it's just robots powered by hype. Like and it's rad.
And the thing is that the spiral energy is kind of borrowed from Getter Robo. Actually, spiral energy is basically just Getter energy, whereas Getter energy is not exactly hype. Like it isn't because like Gurren Lagann is very literal. It's powered by manly spirit, right? But Getter energy basically is the same shit. And just the idea of it in Getter Robo is that normal humans can't handle it. You have to be really, really cool, or else you die.
Okay.
So it's like all the pilots in Getter Robo are like fucking freaks of nature. Like the main character is like a dude who like murdered 500 people in duels because I'm the strongest. And you have like an actual psychopath also, who like is one of the pilots. So they're all they
all just new types.
No, because it's like they don't have like power. They're just like fucking genetic freaks, basically.
Okay.
So like that whole thing's kind of borrowed from Getter. Which is kind of the whole thing with Gurren Lagann, is that it's this kind of conglomerate of all of these things from Super Robot shows in the past, and it just makes it into this big like giant love letter to the entire genre, and it just works so fucking well.
I'm trying to think of what else there was like. I love the idea of like just upping the ante every time, because I hit a point in the series where I'm like, it can't get more ridiculous than this, and then I was a fool.
You thought wrong.
Yeah, literally ends with like with throwing entire universes like frisbees.
Yeah, kind of like the galaxies. Its own galaxies like a star. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit's sick. And then you watch the film version of that fight, and it seems like in the show, it like when it zooms out for scale, right? You see all the universes or all the galaxies around you or whatever. But in the movie, when it zooms out to literally like a map of the known universe, and it's just like it's outrageous. When you get to like Shin, Tengen, Toppa, Gurren Lagann at the end of that, yeah, man, the movie versions are so hype.
What was I gonna say? One thing that I think we've talked about this a couple of times. It's just it always gets me. It's like the lie they tell you at the beginning when it's like looks like the whole universe is against us.
Actually, just forgot. They just decided that no. It was like there's two things they dropped from the beginning. Is they dropped that whole idea, and then they dropped. They had like a catchphrase at the beginning that was like Gurren Lagann spin on, and they say it like 3 times in the first couple episodes, and then they never say it again. They decided that
they found out that Pierce the Heavens is cooler.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, and so like, yeah, so there's like so many details that I really appreciate about Gurren Lagann. Like I really love that the final attack in the show is the first attack that Simon and Kamina learned together. Like it's Lagann Impact, right? When Kamina throws Lagann at like when they're fighting Viral or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the final attack in the series, and that's amazing. I fucking love how they do like Kamina's character, like because he's like the boastful, like huge badass, whatever kind of guy. But then they have a lot of scenes of him where he's talking and he like makes comment, or it shows that he's kind of bluffing, which in a way makes him even more like noble as a hero. Yeah, so like that's really great. I'm a big fan of that. Like the whole episode where they're in the Spiral Nemesis, where they see everyone's like what they want to like what their ideal version of themselves is. And there's that shot of just Viral with a family, and there's so many like little details, and like kind of like small moments that I think really add up to make that show so special.
It's got a lot going for it. Like it's actually I was gonna say that there wasn't really I didn't have a problem with this episode. I was gonna say there's no like episodes I disliked in it. I mean there's points where I was like I didn't like it, but I grew to appreciate it later on. But what was it that happened with episode 4? They got someone fired.
Okay, it's kind of fucked up, and I feel bad for the guy. Basically, episode 4 had a guest director whose name I forget. He's talented. He's done a bunch of stuff. And he has a very distinct visual style. And he was a weird choice. This is the thing, right? Where people always talk about episodes like it has bad animation. It doesn't. It actually looks very good. But it's just his style is very different from the one they normally went for, and he has he doesn't care about model that much, so it goes off model a lot. The episode itself is like fine. Like I don't hate it. It's not a bad episode, but it feels out of place where they put it. A lot of people didn't like it when it aired, and so I think the backlash from it got some executive producer fired for just giving that guy like free rein without thinking about it. But that could be just bullshit, like people making up stuff about production because we don't know things about production. Like how everyone assumed that the writer for Flip Floppers got fired because she wrote like 9 episodes of the show and then didn't write the last like leg of it, but instead she just left because of production. Like that was just how it was like planned.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she was like, "No, I haven't. There's like no ill will. There's like that was just how it was set up, and that show was the favorite show I've worked on so far." Kind of thing. So people just kind of made up some bullshit. So maybe that did happen. Who knows? But as far as I know, that's the story people tell.
Okay. Because I knew there was something going on with there. I was like, I remember not disliking because I know the episode. It's the one where you get those siblings,
like
three.
The black siblings or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's also the episode with like the gunman that's made up of like the smaller gunman that like combine together. Like little pink balls, like the whatever those from Star Trek. I almost want to call them the trilbies, but that's definitely not correct. Yeah. Tribbles. They're called tribbles. Okay, that's what they're called. Yeah. I guess another aspect of the show is that I feel like this show's kind of low-key is what got me interested in Sakuga. Overall, it was like a mixture of this show and Fooly Cooly that I think really got me interested in just like, man, this animation quality is really high. I didn't like know the term until I saw Flip Flappers. That was the show that got me like, oh, there's a community for this. But Gurren Lagann was where I was like, interested in like, wow, like this looks like a step above most things that I normally watch.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like there's so many cuts in Gurren Lagann that are amazing. Like it's just that like Yo-Yo Shinari, and then you have like Ko. I think Ko's and Yo-Yo Shinari have some cuts, and like Sushio's all over it. And you got like Imaishi himself did some cuts. It just has such a fucking insane visual flair, and there's so many talented animators on this show. It just looks so fucking incredible. And like, yeah, and so like it'll always have a space in my heart for that, just because of how fucking good it looked.
For me, the one that got me interested in Saga, same with you, is I didn't know the term. Actually, I don't think I knew the term exactly until I came to this Discord. But the one that got me interested in it was Sword of the Stranger.
Yeah,
like,
with
that
Nakamura,
final fight is fucking gorgeous. Well, not even just the final fight. The first fight that really caught my attention, because I watched it at first because a friend told me like it was one of their favorite anime movies, which looking back at it now, I don't see how. It's brilliantly animated, but the story's subpar.
Yeah, it's alright.
Like the scene that like I feel doesn't get as much respect as it should. Not that I just don't see people talk about it. Is when there was that initial attack when he was just in that burnt out church.
House? Yeah.
Or was it a house? Yeah. That scene,
I think it was like a house.
That initially got me. I was like, oh man, like that was super good for such a short cut. Like I didn't really understand what was going on there. And then of course I get to the final scene.
Are you talking about the fight with the guy that has like the whip or whatever with like the weight on the end? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, because that too. When I was watching it the first time, I was like, wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, so that's what got me to start paying attention.
Because it's like the choreo. Because it's not even the animation quality; it's the choreography also.
I'd say it's a mix. Oh, you said also, yeah.
Yeah,
I can hear you now. Oh no, Skylar.
Anyway, the choreography is so on point that it's just like it adds so much, because there's so much like anime action scenes that have like really good animation, but the choreography of the scene is not really that great. Like the entirety of the end of Fate Apocrypha, which has like I've only seen the fight scenes because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you not hear me again?
Ooh boy.
All right, am I back now?
Yes, you're back now. Maybe we should end it pretty soon.
All right. Anyway, yeah. So basically, this whole thing with the choreography, right, is that so many anime action scenes have really great animation and poor choreography. And it's like the Fate Apocrypha is like that, where it's like incredibly well animated, but the fucking like it's like dudes like the cuts are so fast, and there's like guys like slamming at each other with like beams of like light shooting everywhere. You can't really see what's happening. And so like it's very well animated, and the guy that did it is talented, but the fight choreography leaves a lot to be desired. I think that's kind of common. Obviously, you have dudes that are not like that. Like all of Nakamura's cuts are like, you know, incredibly well choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's a common problem in fight scenes, like unintelligible looking action scenes.
Like it looks gorgeous, but like it's not how a fight would flow.
Yeah, and not even really that. It's just like sometimes confusing in how the flow in like the sequence of events is a little bit like inconsistent or doesn't make a lot of sense. Or like there's like a lot of quick, kind of like the way like action scenes in Hollywood movies are filmed, where like it's like kind of quick cuts to hide things, so you can't really tell what's happening that well.
Mm-hmm. I hate that
obviously
so
there
much.
obviously there are outliers. Yeah, so obviously there are outliers to this, but I think that like that is a problem that exists, and that movie does not have it.
Quick note before we end this, when you mention Hollywood things like with like bad cuts, what's the movie you can think of that has like the worst cuts? Like if you have like one example.
Taken 3.
That's actually gonna be my exact thing.
Yeah.
Like that is the worst I've ever seen with cuts. Liam Neeson, just stop it, please. You can't do it. It looked terrible. I got confused as to what was going on half the time. Just give up, please.
Yeah. Well, there's like a specific moment in that movie where he's climbing a fence. There's like 30 cuts. He climbs a goddamn fence, and it's like 20 seconds long. Let me figure out how many cuts there are in that sequence, because I think you can look it up. But it's like outrageous.
The one that was like it was too hard to ignore, like because I tried to block it out because I saw it the whole time. Was he was fighting some guy in a grocery store, I think, or in a bathroom? I don't remember. It's all of the fights, but there's one that was exceptionally bad where it's like literally any punch he threw, like had at least 2 cuts in it.
17 cuts in 7 seconds.
Can you link it?
17 cuts in 7 seconds.
Link it, please. I need to see this.
I'm linking it.
I don't remember this. I only remember that I hated that movie and the one fight scene. I'm like, this was awful. And the reason it was like, oh hey, he didn't commit the murder because he got the bagels. No one's gonna get hot bagels and then commit murder. Like, I guess, Forrest Whitaker, whatever you say. oh my god.
It's like nauseating.
So ridiculous. What is
like
that?
It actually like hurts my brain when I look at it.
For anyone who wants to know what's killing me, it's named Brian Mills Jumps a Fence. It's a 7-second video, and oh my. There are more cuts in this than there are seconds in the video. Oh man. Oh wow, that's good. That's I don't know how I guess I didn't notice because it was just in the middle of a movie that I was disliking, but that's hilarious. Looking back now, if I watch the movie,
hilariously bad.
Oh man. But yeah, that's I guess. Do you have any more thoughts on? Do you have any more thoughts on Gurren Lagann?
I just want to juxtapose that sequence with the shots from Hot Fuzz, where Simon Pegg is jumping over the fences and doing backflips.
I didn't actually see Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz is really good. You should watch it. Because it's like, yeah, that's a pretty fun movie. I like that one. It's like my favorite of like the Cornetto trilogy of like Shaun of the Dead and that one and At World's End. It's great. Anyway, yeah, I guess I say that Gurren Lagann is a show that I'd recommend to about everybody. It's very near and dear to my heart. I remember I watched it in high school. It kind of consumed my life for like 3 years. Like I watched it when I was like a sophomore, I think, and I was like obsessed with it until I graduated from high school.
Mhm.
I would like hype myself up listening to music from the show all the time. You know, like it was just like whatever. And then what my favorite thing that's ever happened probably was when I watched it with my brother. It was like maybe a year and a half ago, maybe now. We watched it over summer break, and my brother, we finish it, and he looks at me and he says, "Skylar, all that weird shit you said in high school now makes so much money. I now feel your feeling."
Hmm.
And I like felt this feeling in my heart of like, yeah, I did it. I've passed it on. He understands, and it feels very good. That show makes me feel like a tiny child, full of wonder and awe in the world, and it's amazing.
All right. Well, that being said, unless you have any final notes, we can.
Yeah, that's all I got really.
Okay. Well, everyone, thank you for listening in. Once again, if you have any fan questions or insults, whatever, I don't give a shit at this point. Send your questions into officialdadcast@gmail.com or weeklydadcast@gmail.com. Send them to both because I don't know.
Do both.
Yeah. The worst that can happen is one gets read and the other one doesn't. It's fine. CC them. It's fine. And with that being said, we'll see you guys again next week.